All right, we're ready. Okay.
Yeah, you're live.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the virtual annual meeting of the Buncombe County Tourism Development Authority. We're delighted that so many of you could join us in such unusual circumstances. We have over 200 people registered for the meeting today, which is outstanding, and particularly noteworthy that we don't have the promise of free food and beverage following our meeting. So please BYOB. Believe it or not, I'm excited for this 2020 version of our annual meeting. It's not so much a look back as it is a look forward because, well, it's 2020 and we just as soon not spend a lot of time looking back right now. So my name is Chris Cavanaugh. I'm the interim director of the Explore Asheville Convention and Visitors Bureau. I've been in this role since July 1st, and as we get closer to the naming of a new CEO, which should come in a matter of days, I just wanted to say how much I've enjoyed being in this office. As you can see, I've chosen the most boring background I could possibly have for this Zoom meeting, which is very much in keeping with my personality. I do want to say, though, thank you to so many of you for what you have done to support the community and tourism in Buncombe County, particularly over the last 7 months. It's been rather remarkable, and we're going to pay tribute to many of the people who have persevered. Let's take a look at the agenda for today. We're going to move very quickly through the first few items on our agenda so we can get to our keynote speaker, Earl B. Hunter Jr. of Black Folks Camp 2. I'm very excited about having Earl as our main speaker today, and you'll see why in a few minutes. He came very highly recommended to us, to me personally, all the way back in January, and I've learned a lot more about him, and you'll learn a lot more about him and what he has to say today. So I'm very excited. So I'd like to now introduce Himanshu Karveer, the current chair of the Buncombe County Tourism Development Authority. Many of you already know Himanshu, who's the managing director of Vertel Hospitality here in Asheville, and he's a tireless volunteer for many community organizations in Buncombe County. We're very lucky to have him on the board. So Himanshu, thank you for your service, and please take it away.
Thank you, Chris, and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this year's annual meeting. Sitting at a computer or on your phone at home is just not the same as the gatherings in the past years, like Chris mentioned earlier. But there are nearly 200 of us who have registered to attend virtually today. And to me, that demonstrates your tremendous dedication to our industry and to our community. So thank you for being here, and thank you for your partnership, and for the privilege of working with all of you, serving our visitors and helping our community to thrive, even during these trying times. At this time, I'd like to recognize my fellow BCTDA board members. We have immediate past chair and current vice chair, Gary Froba of the Omni Grove Park Inn, Leah Ashburn of Highland Brewing Company, Andrew Selwyn of the Herbiary, John Luckett of the Grand Bohemian, John McKibben with McKibben Hospitality, James Poole of the Foundry Hotel Asheville, Kathleen Mosier with Biltmore, County Commissioner Joe Belcher, City Council member Julie Mayfield, and our newest board member, Brenda Durden of Asheville Hotel Group, who was recently appointed by the Buncombe County Commissioners. Thank you all for your dedicated volunteer service to benefit the people who live here. Among the past board members here today, we have Chip Craig of Graybeard Realty in Black Mountain, who completed his service with the BCTDA in July after 7 years. During his tenure, Chip served for several years as chair of the Finance Committee, providing the Explore Asheville staff with board oversight during the annual budget planning process.
So I'm going to pick it up from here, we're having some technical difficulties with Himanshu. He is frozen, which there he is. Is he back? No. So Chip, we want to ask you to say a few remarks. You've seen a lot during your tenure on the board.
Over the years, the fund has supported.
There we go. All right.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now, so you're back live.
Sorry. So, the fun times of Zoom meetings. This year, it was this income that enabled the BCTDA to make a $50,000 lead donation to One Buncombe, the community fund to help local individuals and small businesses impacted by COVID-19. So Chip, once again, thank you for your service.
Thank you, Himanshu. It's been a real pleasure working with the board and the staff. I appreciate you guys putting up with the vacation rental manager for the past 7 years. I know it took a lot. I hope it wasn't too bad. When I joined the board, I didn't know that much about it. It was somewhere where I sent my guest occupancy tax once a month, and I really didn't know where the money went. After being on the board, I feel very confident that the monthly occupancy tax that graybeard guests pay on each reservation is put to very good use and has a very definite positive ROI. I thank the staff for such an amazing job you guys do and the quality of work you produce. You really do make a board member's life very easy, how well you run the organization. I hope to stay involved and attend future TDA meetings and events. I would say overall it's been a very, very positive experience. So thank y'all.
Thank you again, Chip, and we'll take you up on that offer of helping out. Now, I would like to take a few moments to express the board's gratitude for the leadership of Gary Froba, who served as chair over the past year. From July of 2019 through part of March 2020, we were well on the road to another remarkable year of attracting overnight visitors to Buncombe County, who would put dollars in the cash registers of local businesses. Then, as we all know, unexpectedly, the world encountered a detour that has had devastating impacts on the tourism and hospitality industry. And even though Gary was forced to close the Omni Grove Park Inn for a few weeks and furlough staff, himself included, his commitment to this community never wavered. In fact, it was stronger than ever. With the support of our local delegation, Gary and fellow members of the Asheville Buncombe Hotel Association, with Explore Asheville's former president and CEO Stephanie Brown, were instrumental in helping establish the $5 million Buncombe Tourism Jobs Recovery Fund to assist nearly 400 local tourism businesses in safely reopening after COVID-related closures. It was a monumental achievement. And speaking of Stephanie, after 8 years of leading unprecedented growth of the destination, Stephanie left Explore Asheville at the end of June. Gary has also led the CEO search committee, and once again, thank you for his leadership. And a successor to Stephanie is expected to be announced soon. So Gary couldn't join us for this meeting today, but we will all join in if you can join me in thanking Gary for his extraordinary leadership during an extraordinary year. And there are also two other individuals I'd like to acknowledge today, both of whom we lost in recent months. Tom Ruff of Biltmore, a former BCTDA board member and hospitality veteran, and Charlie Price, who we featured in the Pioneers of the BCTDA video at last year's annual meeting. These legendary gentlemen brought exceptional talent and expertise to our industry, and we extend our condolences to their families, friends, and colleagues. I also want a quick thank you to the staff at Explore Asheville, especially Jonna Sampson and Daniel Bradley, who are tirelessly working behind the scenes of all these virtual meetings that we have, and for coordinating and making sure our technology works. So thank you for that. And now please allow me to return the meeting back to Chris Cavanaugh. And on behalf of the BCTDA, we are grateful, Chris, for your willingness to take the helm to allow this organization and our community to continue to grow and move forward. And you're doing an excellent job as an interim executive. So thank you, Chris. Chris, you're on mute.
Thank you, Himanshu. I'd like to spend a few minutes talking about where we are as a sector. And why do I say sector? Why not industry? Why not just tourism? Well, I think that this year, more so than any year, has proven that we are indeed a collection of different industries, that we represent a number of different businesses that all contribute to tourism in Buncombe County. And I think it's really important that we acknowledge as we go forward that there's never been a better time to talk about the fact that tourism is not just a single industry, especially here in Western North Carolina. It's made up of multiple industries across numerous product and service categories. It includes both for-profits and nonprofits, all of which have been impacted by COVID-19. We've witnessed the depth and breadth of what happens when a calamity like coronavirus strikes our community and when visitors are taken out of the economy. It's not just lodging that's impacted, it's many, many different kinds of businesses and nonprofit organizations, almost all of which qualify as small businesses or small nonprofits. We knew that before the pandemic, and it's never been so obvious as it is now, very sadly. I think there are two words, though, that mark what I've witnessed in the community and in the tourism sector over the last 7 months. Those two words are resilience and innovation. I believe books will be and should be written one day detailing how this sector rose to the challenge presented by the pandemic, something that none of us have seen before. How something that created such upheaval and chaos also demonstrated the ability of businesses to keep people employed, the community fed, and their doors open while adhering to health and safety protocols. And we'll talk more about health and safety as we go throughout this today. That resilience and innovation can be seen in an outdoor dining expanded into downtown Asheville parking areas, or a petanque court transformed into an alfresco dining courtyard in East Asheville. Most of y'all probably didn't even know I could pronounce petanque. You can ask one of our guests later on about petanque and what that is. It's something French. Our local government partners have also done a great job of responding to the crisis. There are signs of this everywhere, literally signs everywhere that talk about the crisis we're in and how we can best navigate it. And I want to use this opportunity to thank the staff at the City of Asheville and Buncombe County and our other local governments for being such strong partners. Will go through tourism and go through adherence to health and safety measures. This community's future depends upon it. I can't leave out our accommodations partners for all that they have done to adjust to the current environment either. They have invested in new cleaning protocols, extensive employee training, and extensive PPE for their employees, including the ubiquitous plexiglass. And that opens us up to a question of what are we going to do with all this plexiglass after this is over? We'll be thinking about that. There's no doubt going to be a market in used plexiglass, hopefully very soon. Every one of our partners has responded to this crisis in meaningful ways that demonstrate their resilience and creativity, from changing menus to expanding online offerings to cooking up new product items. And you can see things like one of my favorite places, Sovereign Remedies, has gone to making their own potato chips. Even the once neglected QR code, which we all thought was dead and gone, has made a comeback. Whether you're working at a hospital or responsible for getting food into our restaurants or grocery stores and onto diners' plates or into their homes, you have provided an invaluable benefit to Buncombe County. We can't say thank you enough, and we are so grateful to so many people. Now, there have been people who have questioned my sanity in taking this interim executive job during the pandemic. In fact, I would say that this next image, which if those of you who are on Twitter see quite frequently, this next image accurately summarizes the reaction of most people I get when I tell them I was taking on this interim role. But I'm fortunate to be part of a great team, a truly inspiring team that knows that our path to economic recovery in this community will go through working to guide that economic recovery in a safe manner. And they're very cognizant of that, as am I. But so are so many of our partners and so much of the community. And what we've seen has been inspiring in so many ways. Our team has done many things that demonstrate resilience and innovation in service to the tourism sector and the community. One of the first steps taken by the CVB at the early onset of the pandemic was to help drive online commerce for partners who sell many of their goods and services online. And we are fortunate to live in a community with so many talented makers whose goods could still be sold online to customers around the world, building upon our global reputation as a center of creativity. Over the years, so many visitors have taken home a piece of Asheville with them. And this was yet another opportunity to let the magic. Safety, as I mentioned, has been at the center of everything the team has done over the last 7 months. Our Asheville Cares Stay Safe pledge has actually been adopted by many of our partners and has even been copied by other destinations. We saw this week that Visit Boston had an acknowledgement of this Asheville Cares pledge as the inspiration for what they've done in Boston, which is great to see. Safety will continue to be at the center of everything that we do. This team has worked with the county and the city to install signage, has initiated social media mask wearing contests, has created special COVID messaging online on the Explore Asheville website, and continues to implement new initiatives to remind our visitors and potential visitors of the need to stay safe. You'll be hearing more about this later, but our sales team has also pivoted to new possibilities during the pandemic, continuing to sell the destination to build future demand and customers for local businesses. We're not there yet, but we'll be there soon, and we're continually planning for what that future looks like. The sales team has also invested in new tools to promote the unique variety of meeting space here and to allow planners to see us and book business, even if they can't be here just yet. It's a form of preparing for the future that's essential for preparing for that economic recovery. The sales team has recently even created their own Meet Safe pledge, further reinforcing the need for safety as we return to hosting meetings and events. Now, while there aren't a whole lot of highlights during the year of a pandemic, I do want to call attention to the Buncombe County Tourism Jobs Recovery Fund. This special legislation created a pool of $5 million back in the spring for 394 grants to local tourism-related businesses and nonprofits, enabling the retention of nearly 4,800 jobs in the community. These grants were fully dispersed by the end of June, thanks to the gigantic efforts of Mountain BizWorks. I also want to say thank you to our local elected leaders who supported this effort here and in Raleigh. It couldn't have happened without you. The recipients of these grants represent the true nature of the tourism sector here in Buncombe County. Small business is at the heart of who we are as a destination, and over half of grants went to organizations with 5 or fewer employees. Now, as an organization, we are still staying true to our mission, even during this difficult times of great uncertainty. That mission has not changed. Again, we believe that the economic recovery of our community goes through tourism and the safe recovery of the community. But our team also recognizes that at this time, we have a purpose that is also vital to our partners, to our community, and to the entire tourism sector. Purpose is at the core of our strategy, beyond the language of what's in our guiding legislation and the mission. It acknowledges the impact of what we do and the motivations behind it. It shapes our value proposition in response to community and partner needs. It recognizes that a safer and healthier community is more attractive to visit. It clarifies what we stand for and provides impetus for action. And it's both retrospective, looking back at what we've already done, as well as providing perspective going forward. while enabling our organization to stay within our legislatively mandated guardrails. I introduced 4 strategic pillars at our August board meeting. These are intended to be a strategic framework for implementation of both new and old ideas and adapting to the current circumstances that we find ourselves in. These pillars are intended to inspire very deliberate and urgent action to drive the economic recovery of our community. We will safely attract overnight visitation, just as we always has done. When the time comes, we recognize that we have the unique means and ability to prepare Asheville for the return of visitors and the benefits that they bring with them. Our role is to position Asheville and Buncombe County to rebound safely and faster than other communities. We also believe that all visitor segments are not going to immediately return in numbers seen in the past or at the same rate. The core target of our visitation will remain the same, but we believe there are opportunities to reach new audiences, to fill gaps and diversify that base of visitors. We also will identify and implement additional activities that benefit local tourism businesses, encourage retention of jobs, and sustain the economic recovery. And finally, we will continue to work closely with local governments and tourism-related partner organizations to encourage compliance with health and safety mandates by expanding our outreach to community segments and some non-traditional partners as well. We have a tough road still ahead of us. There are a lot of unknowns, and I worry a lot about what the winter looks like. I've spent a lot of time just in the first 100 days that I've been in this job thinking about what life looks like without lots of outdoor dining, without outdoor recreation, and many of the challenges that we still have ahead of us. You know, so many of you have helped transform Asheville into a 4-season destination, and that success is in jeopardy this year. But you've also shown your resilience and your ability to innovate, and I remain confident that we can get through this. I have told the CVB team to focus on what we can do and not what we can't. And most importantly of all, it's my mantra, it's my very personal, very important thing to me. In fact, I'd say it's a family motto, and that is wear a damn mask. We can't get through this unless you're wearing the mask. So please do that. So let's move on to the next part of our presentation. I am now pleased to present the William A.V. Cecil Tourism Leadership Award to this year's recipient. This award has been given to individuals who have made a significant contribution to the tourism sector in Asheville and Buncombe County, and who have provided exceptional leadership in making this community a special place to live and visit. This year's award, though, goes not to an individual, but to an organization and indeed an entire community of passionate and dedicated people who have shaped Asheville's reputation as a unique culinary destination. Independent restaurants are a huge part of the appeal of Asheville and Buncombe County, and they are part of an ecosystem that includes local farms and many different kinds of makers. There's never been a better time to recognize the contributions of our many independent restaurants than right now. They need our support, your support, like never before. And so the William A.V. Cecil Tourism Leadership Award goes to AIR, the Asheville Independent Restaurant Association. Founded by 4 chef owners in 2003, the Asheville Independent Restaurant Association is a membership organization of independent restaurants located in Buncombe County. Now numbering more than 100 restaurants, AIR supports its members through advocacy, education, workforce development, and collaboration. Members include fine dining restaurants, coffee shops, fast casual outlets, and ice cream purveyors. As perhaps one of the nation's largest organizations of its kind, AIR truly is food in Asheville. Here to accept the award are Jane Anderson, AIR's Executive Director, and 2 of AIR's founding members, Michelle Boudouin and Eric Sheffer.
Do something.
I think they're going to switch the camera over. There we go.
We there? We can't see.
Way up in the corner.
Click on that so we can see.
There we are.
Hi there. Hi, Chris. All right. Wow.
Congratulations.
Oh my God. Look at that. All right. Thank you very much.
Look up here.
Here we go. Look it over there. Sorry. Thank you all very, very much. This is an incredible, incredible honor for us. We're humbled and honored and can't believe that more than 18 years later, we're sitting here together, all three of us, still standing.
And talking to each other.
Exactly.
This is beautiful. This was very much unexpected, as so was the help that we received from the BCTDA earlier a few months ago. That was, I've never seen anything like that anywhere else, and I've been around a little bit. It was so helpful, and it was so, what would I say? It was very encouraging. Really show the support, what this town is all about. Businesses can work together and support each other. And that's why we started the Restaurant Association. It was to help each other at the beginning. And of course, over the years, it's evolved. And under the leadership of Jane, we have had tremendous education for our owners. I've been in this business for 42 years. And I'm still learning a thing because we have associate members like Maguire, Wooden Bissett, and Cisco, and other companies and businesses who are so supportive and so helpful. So we're very, very grateful. And this was unexpected, but it certainly is appreciated.
And we're very also grateful for the seat at the table that you've all afforded us, whether it be at the city level, but mostly certainly at the level of the TDA and the CVB. For me, the amazing leadership and the foresight back in the day when Craig Matterson decided to bring Mark Rosenstein on the board as a restaurateur, and I was then brought on as well, and to bring restaurateurs to the table with hoteliers and realizing that together it was our strength and the work that we could do together to build this community for tourism. I also have to take a second and thank the just brilliant leadership of Marla Tambellini and Kelly Miller back in the day when they had brought an advertising agency on called Lucky Advertising that helped create the Footopian Society, which really put us on the map as a city that had such an amazing group of culinarians here and such an amazing food scene. I can't thank this woman behind us enough. She's been our rock for everybody, and she, without her, none of us would be sitting here. So thank you all very, very much. This is an incredible honor.
It is. We look forward to the future. Changes have been made, as Chris was talking about. Some nice to see the plans that are going to be implemented. Of course, we want to be part of it. We want to help and support every way we can, as we have. There is no nonprofit special event these days, but if you have attended them in the past, who are the restaurants who are there supporting those nonprofit organizations? It's us, the independent restaurant, and we're very proud to be part of the community in that way.
We accept this on behalf of all of the culinarians in this town. I mean, we're all in this together. The gravity of the situation is what it is. We will get through this. I would just ask that everybody that's watching this video, ask 5 of your friends to go out and either order some food out or go to a place you feel safe and support and continue supporting the restaurant industry in this town, because we're strong people. We'll survive. We'll keep on adapting, and we are here for everybody in this community.
And wear a damn mask.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
It's been many, many board members. We were the founder. We used to meet every week at the beginning because we had no idea what we were doing. But we had a lot of good intention. We still have them today, but among those 18 years, it's been many, many restaurateurs who have contributed to this organization. And, you know, Jane has been herding cat now for many, many years because she will never complain, but she's got plenty of stories.
Exactly. It's only taken me 18 years to finally be able to understand my French friend.
Nashville.
Good.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Like
you.
they said, go out and support them now more than ever. You can
Right.
also lobby your elected representatives in Washington to get some relief for independent restaurants. It's also something that will benefit them both here and around the country at this point.
Well,
So,
on that subject, you know, Washington is always saying, as you said earlier, that small businesses are the backbone of the country. Here in Asheville and in Buncombe County, we know it and we all work together. Washington doesn't have a clue about that. They just talk. And now they need to act.
There you go.
Thank you.
thank you, everyone.
Leadership, Chris.
We'll now move on to the next part of our presentation of our program for today. And we're going to go to a couple of things as reminders first. I want to let you know that our annual report is now available for download at AshevilleCVB.com. About the fiscal year just passed. And yes, there were some highlights. There were some good things that happened before we got into this mess in March. So please check out the annual report available at AshevilleCVB.com. I also want to remind you that this year's annual meeting is actually a two-part event because, quite frankly, you can only sit through another Zoom presentation for so long. The marketing, sales, and community engagement teams will present their updates on Tuesday, October 20th at 10 a.m. Here to share a quick peek at what's to come in that presentation is Marla Tambellini, Deputy Director and Vice President of Marketing. She'll be followed by Diana Pierce, our Vice President of Sales.
So thank you, Chris. I first want to acknowledge Eric's very kind comments, but I have to say that it is the inspiration of the culinary leaders in this community and all of the innovative restaurants and, quite frankly, all businesses who inspire our entire team every day and allow us to make our jobs such wonderful ones, because it is the people in this community that make it so special and what we enjoy sharing with the not only the nation but the world. So at this point, you know, it's a little hard to crystal ball the future these days. I think we can all agree on that. But Explore Asheville, as you've heard from Chris, continues to remain flexible. And that is the case, of course, when it comes to marketing. So when we meet on October 20th, I will start by sharing some of the most recent travel projections for the coming months and the current state of mind in travel. But today, I just want to give you a sneak peek, if we go to the next slide, and lay out some of the marketing plans that are going to help us move forward towards recovery. While our full advertising program is not in the market right now, we are involved with a few efforts that are in tandem with state and national partners, namely Visit NC and US Travel, and they're helping us keep travel and Asheville top of mind right now. I think we can all agree that travel is a mood booster, right? But recent research shows that the mere act of planning travel can have that same effect. And so we're tapping into that through this national campaign that was launched by US Travel, and it will run through January. And we'll share more about that as we meet with you on the 20th. The Let's Go There campaign, as it's called, is really just aimed to get people to start putting just travel plans on their calendar. And we'll share the custom creative that we've put together as part of that effort, and that's also being shared in the Visit NC marketing program. We're also going to talk a little bit about audiences. Chris kind of referenced this a few minutes ago. You may have heard that we've been working on a methodology and working under a methodology that allows us to focus on targeting responsible travelers and avoiding hotspots, which is one of the reasons we're not in the market right now at this instant. But as we move towards recovery next spring, we are also doing some research and content development as part of those efforts to broaden our reach and appeal to new audiences. We also have some marketing promotions that are lined up for the spring that we're really excited to share with you. And those too align with some of these newer strategic objectives, and we'll delve into that. And as always, we strive to keep up with technology, and we're introducing some new platforms that will improve our ability to deliver more personalized and optimized content, do some better hyper-targeting, and also provide better customer service to visitors seeking information. So on that note, if we move to the next slide, we have been working on a refresh of our website throughout this entire spring, and a special shout out to Josh Jones, who's had one foot in the door of quickly pivoting towards all of those virtual functions that Chris talked about, while also in the background working on this web refresh that we've just recently launched. And we're excited to talk through those changes and how they'll better support you, our partners, and moving forward, how we'll be able to better connect that expanding content and pursue some efforts that will align with new and evolving opportunities, such as those with Google. And then finally, on the next slide, on the PR front, Dodie Stevens will join us, and she leads our media relations strategies here at Explore Asheville, and she'll detail how COVID is impacting travel journalists and the media landscape at large. And she'll also guide you through what's working and what's not. Our original plan for this fiscal year was to add more in-person media events, and that has obviously changed. So she'll talk to you about the impact of virtual events and what that means for, pitching opportunities. And she'll also provide some additional insight about how partners can tap into media plans and outreach as we head into 2021 and through next spring. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Diana, and again, welcome you to join us on October 20th. Diana.
Thank you, Marla. Again, everybody, I'm Diana Pierce, and I'm representing the group sales and services team, and delighted to be here and part of this amazing community. Like everybody on this call, we were on pace to have a really good year last fiscal year, and we did through about March 13th. Then, as we knew, everything changed, and to move forward, we found that our strategies and our tactics had to change as well, and change they did. Every day we do what Chris suggests to us in our meetings. We challenge ourselves to say, it's not about what we can't do, but rather it's about what we can do. If you can change the slide. We need to embrace what's possible. And again, please. What was started this last fiscal year has carried over into the new fiscal year. And we're going to do a deeper dive on this, as Marla had noted, on October 20th, and we really invite you to come and participate in that call. Some of the things we're going to be addressing then is how sales has moved from in-person to virtual largely. How our market focus has tightened to a little bit more of a regional approach, because we know that the stats show local and regional meetings are going to be the first returning. We've developed some really awesome partner collaborations, and how we have talked to planners has really had to change according to the times. On Tuesday, October 20th, we're going to be showing off a new meetings brand. If you can change the slide, please. We'll talk about the Meet Safe Pledge, which is just launched, and in fact, we're sharing that pledge with about 80 planners tomorrow on a mug moment, which is a new initiative. And we'll be sharing more strategies and tactics that lean into where we are now and where we want to go. Looking back and looking forward is certainly not the fiscal years we planned for, but it's what we have. So we invite you to join the marketing and the sales team next week, October 20th, to talk about what's possible and how we're going to achieve what we're going to do to make the possible real. So thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the TDA meeting.
Thanks, Diana, and thank you, Marla. I'm now pleased to introduce today's keynote speaker, Earl B. Hunter Jr., founder and president of Black Folks Camp 2. He is an experienced business leader across multiple industries. He's been widely recognized for his ebullient personality, which you'll see on display here shortly, his hard work ethic, and non-traditional approach to building relationships and closing deals. Mr. Hunter is driven by success, and he always plays to win at whatever challenge is presented to him. Mr. Hunter is the founder and president of Black Folks Camp 2, a marketing-driven business whose mission is to increase diversity in the outdoor industry by making it easier, more interesting, and more fun for Black folks to go outdoors. The idea for Black Folks Camp 2 began when Mr. Hunter was introduced to camping for the first time in 2015 while serving as Vice President of Sales for Sylvan Sport, one of the world's most innovative outdoor industry companies. The idea didn't fully form, however, until Mr. Hunter and his son Dylan went on an epic camping road trip across the USA and Canada. They traveled for 3 months, visiting 49 campgrounds in 20 states and provinces, and saw precisely one other Black family camping. At the heart of Black Folks Camp 2 is the belief that once Black folks would become more active campers and begin enjoying the outdoor lifestyle, it will help break down barriers to create more inclusive communities and stronger relationships overall. Black Folks Camp 2 assists in removing fears, adding knowledge, and inviting more Black families to build memories and to strengthen family bonds. Black Folks Camp 2 is a business that combines all of Mr. Hunter's previous sales leadership roles, but especially his most recent position as Vice President of Sales at Sylvan Sport. While at Sylvan Sport, Mr. Hunter grew the business from $1 million to $17.5 million in sales in 4 years, primarily by going on the road to build a network of over 100 RV dealer locations. In doing so, he put over 400,000 miles on the road across North America to personally work with dealership owners and sales teams at outdoor and RV events to drive the business. Prior to Sylvan Sport, Mr. Hunter was Vice President of Sales and an executive staff member at the International Procurement Distribution, where he helped create jobs by merging American manufacturing companies with international corporations located in Canada, China, India, Mexico, Taiwan, Thailand, and Vietnam. From 1998 to 2010, Mr. Hunter was executive of account sales for No Spirit were honed from a young age as a high school and college athlete, being awarded full athletic scholarships for football to Georgia Military College in Milledgeville, Georgia, and to Appalachian State University in Boone in 1996. Go Neers. In addition to his multifaceted business career, Mr. Hunter is also the author of a children's book, The Chronicles of Dylan and Fuzzy. Mr. Hunter also mentors area youth, is a proud and an active alumni of both his alma maters, and loves to sing as a hobby. He resides in the mountains of Western North Carolina with his 3 favorite people, his wife Tamika, his son Dylan, and daughter Gabrielle, affectionately known as Fuzzy. So Earl, we're delighted that you're here today, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Right on. How you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well. I can't see you, but I hope you guys see me. First of all, I want to thank Explore Asheville, Chris Kavanaugh and your staff, Ellen Green, the Black Folks Camp 2 staff, and also Mojo. I'm actually here in Asheville, here at Mojo co-working space here off of Market Street. So you guys want to come by, shake some hands? I'll make sure I have my my damn mask on. I can tell you that right now. So listen, it is so good to see you guys. And like Chris said, I am a App State grad. I'm proud of that. I'm a proud mountaineer. Go Neers. I always say happy. And before we get into everything, I tell you guys this. Before games, before I got on the bus to go to the games, before I got into anything I would do, I always sing to the guys and I always sing to myself. So and every time I wake up in the morning and I look in the mirror, I have these beautiful songs in my mind. But today, the song was, when I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hurts my eyes, something without warning, love, bears heavy on my mind. Woo! Hey, when I look at you, bum, bum, ba-da, and the world's all right with me, yeah. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be, yeah. Oh, a lovely day, yeah. It's a lovely day, yeah. That's my man right there, baby. It's gonna be a lovely day today. My man Bill Withers, he passed away during COVID, and so a lot of people didn't hear that, but I gotta tell you, Bill Withers is a very, very popular man to me. I love him because I love to sing, but I gotta tell you something. This is the part of the presentation that I gotta ask all of the perfect people. All of the perfect people, you probably need to leave the room. If you're perfect, you need to leave and not look at this particular telecast, because I'm not going to address any perfect people, because there aren't any perfect people. And I got to tell you guys something right now. We're not going to talk much about 2020, but I got to tell you, 2020 has been a hellacious year for all of us, right? I don't care if you're a billionaire, or if you are a thousandaire, a hundredaire, or a no-naire. We've all dealt with some of the toughest days of our lives, right? We've had sicknesses, we've had deaths, we've had unrest, we've had a ton of racial issues, we've had a ton of things that have caused us to not to be together, right? We've had a ton of things to cause us to be in a place where we feel unsure, right? Particularly in the outdoor industry and particularly in the tourism industry. I'm going to speak to you guys from my heart, because at the end of the day, if we as a group, whether it be here in Asheville, in Buncombe County, or all over the world, if we don't come together as people and to be able to live as people, we're going to perish as people. And I promise you that, because as an athlete, I know for sure, every team has to be a team, or otherwise you'll be divided and you will lose, right? And at App State, we won a lot. In my military school, we won a lot because we were a team. And we're a team of black folks, white folks, green folks, yellow folks. It didn't matter. We had one goal and we wanted to win. With that being said, I always tell people this, and I will tell you guys this right now. I do not twist arms when it comes to our organization. I do not twist arms when it comes to doing deals. I do not twist arms at all. My job is to twist your heart, right? We all pump the same blood. And so when you twist someone's heart, you get them deep down and you get them right on to what you really want them to do. So as we're keeping it real, I want you guys to know that we're gonna have an amazing time. We're gonna talk about me. We're gonna talk about some of the things I've been able to do. But this telecast, this is for you. This is for the resilience. This is for the hotel owners. This is for the attraction owners here in town. This is for all the folks in this particular area, particularly the outdoor area as well. We're going to talk about how we're going to not only just get black folks in the outdoors, we're going to talk about how we're going to bring our country and bring our people together in Asheville. So I got to tell you something, guys. You guys think you've had some problems? You think you've had some things going on in your life? You think you've had to get unemployment? You think you've had to do some things? Well, let me just tell you one of the things I've had to go through. Listen, I'm 44-year-old black male, and the one thing I love doing is going to the barbershop, right? And if you don't know anything about going to the barbershop as a black male, you need to go to a black barbershop. And what I mean by going to a black barbershop is where they typically cut probably 90% of black men's hair. Well, I normally have my hair really nice and tight, just like I'm going to the military. But this is what it looks like now, because I have not been able to go to the barbershop. And the barbershop for me is a place where I go have my social time. I spend 4 or 5 hours at the barbershop. And because of COVID, I have not been able to do that, right? And so I've had some issues, right? I've had, my daughter told me, Dad, you're gonna have to get a haircut, right? And so I will tell you guys, at the end of the day, we have to think outside of the box, right? We have to think outside of the box. All of us, we're gonna go through something, but we're gonna have to get to something, right? Many of us have gone through a lot, right? And I always never try to minimize this. We've gone through a lot. Many of you are sitting at home right now and don't know what tomorrow is gonna bring. right? Many of you are at home right now and don't really know what you're going to get done and how you're going to get done. There's some restaurants right now teetering if they're going to close or not. There's some attractions right now are trying to figure out when they're going to spend their last savings and what they're going to do to keep their business going. Their folks can't wait till the next PPP comes, right? We're all in this together. We're all going through this together. So again, what you're going through right now, don't feel like you're alone, because we're here. We're here with you, and we're going to go through something to get through something. All the success that Earl Hunter has had in my life, right? It didn't happen because I had to go through something. Right there, that photo you see me in the middle, that is a Italian suit wearing, Gucci wearing, Louis Vuitton wearing, sports car driving executive ready to close deals. I was flying on private planes and having a great time, call up the pilot and call him up and say, hey, I need to fly and go this place before I got into the outdoor industry. That is the guy with the future tie on, sitting there between two fellas trying to sell that product in the back that you guys see there, which is the Silver Sport Go Camper. Guys, I gotta be frank with you. When I came to Silver Sport, I knew nothing about the outdoors. I didn't go tent camping. I didn't do any of those things. And here's the reason why. For me, the outdoors was a scary place. My great-grandmother would tell my grandmother would tell me, don't go in those woods because the boogeyman was in those woods. So I was scared of the outdoors, right? The second thing is that I had no knowledge of the outdoors, zero knowledge of it. When you're told not to go in the woods, particularly in the South, you do not go in the woods, right? Third thing is I was never invited. No one ever invited me to go camping. No one ever invited me and told me, hey, look, you can enjoy the outdoors. This is a place you can go for recreation. I never knew any of those things. But I got to tell you something, though. It didn't matter to me. It didn't matter to me what my personal preference was at that particular time. Only thing I knew is I had to sell a product, right? And it wasn't an easy product to sell, right? And so selling that product, and what I had to do is do something that most folks don't want to do. When I say you're going to have to go through something to get to something, well, you try and go from having this lifestyle of really enjoying the lifestyle of staying at these 4-star hotels, ride on these private planes, and now coming to get on a truck and drive 300, 400,000 miles around North America, from North Carolina to Nova Scotia, from Nova Scotia to BC, from BC to San Diego, from San Diego to Florida, and all in between. I did it 3 or 4 times, driving, opening dealers, RV dealers, being one of the only Black executives in a $141 billion industry, which is the RV industry, being one of the only Black males at conventions with thousands and thousands and thousands of folks, right? My job wasn't to look at what I was going through. My job was to get through it. And I knew right then, honestly, that the outdoor industry needed to change, right? I knew some things in the outdoor industry needed to change, right? Where there's a $141 billion industry, and I'm the only Black executive, I knew right then there was something that needed to be changed and needed to be done. Well, you're going to have to talk that talk and walk that walk. Well, spending all that time on the road, guys, it taught me something. It taught me that I missed my family, and it taught my family and my children, particularly my son, who I instilled in, and I always tell him, son, you're going to have to talk that talk and walk that walk when he's actually when he's playing sports. And so my son challenged me. January 2017, my son challenged me. I came home from a trip, and my son said to me, Dad, he said, listen, you go on a ton of vacations, and you don't take me. Well, my son didn't know I wasn't on vacation. I was on the road selling campers, driving the business, trying to feed my family and other folks' families as well. So I promised my son, I said, listen, you challenged me, so the day you get out of school, I'm going to take you on an amazing trip, right? We're going to go on a trip around the country, and it's going to be amazing. Well, what he didn't know is this trip was not just going to be a camping trip for him, but it was also going to show him what his daddy and what his father was doing out on the road. Because what my son knew before that was his dad was living this lifestyle of the Huxtable lifestyle, but he knows that I'm a good times kid, right? And so we embarked on this amazing trip, right? Keep in mind, my son had never been camping before, and we were camping in a pop-up camper. We went to 49 campgrounds, went to 20 states, over 3 months, 14,000 miles from Canada to United States. I mean, we were just driving. We get to New Mexico, and we saw one black family. And that black family was totally different from us, right? Because we were driving a truck, and we were pulling a Silver Sport Go camper, and they were actually driving a motorhome, and I guarantee it was close to about $400,000 motorhome. So they looked like the Huxtables, and we looked like the Good Times kids, right? When they drove up, I can remember hearing the brakes or the air brakes on the motorhome, and it went like shh, and they jumped out. We both looked at one another, both families. We were like, ah! We could not believe that we saw another black family. I couldn't believe it, and certainly they couldn't. And at that particular time, I remember the young lady, the wife of the family. She said to me, Earl, if you are one of the only black executives in the outdoor industry, you need to change that. You need to help change getting more black folks in the outdoors, right? And as an athlete, it struck me. I started thinking about it. It wasn't on my mind to leave Silver Sport or to do anything outside of that, because my mind was really on selling those campers because we had a really good product, right? Well, what really drove me as I drove around the country and started thinking, I was going to other campgrounds, never seeing any black folks, right? In my mind, I was thinking black folks are some of the most athletic people in the world. We do it all. We're basketball, football, baseball, but we don't do anything in the outdoors. Zero, right? 0.8%, right? 0.8% of us really do anything in the outdoors. We camping, if anything. We don't mountain bike. We don't kayak. We don't canoe. We don't trail run. We don't do any of those things. Any of those things, guys. Well, to me, that was a problem. So Earl had to get data, right? I remember the day of October the 10th, when I launched the company on the stage of the Outdoor Economy Conference. And I sang to the folks, and I told them, Change Gonna Come by Sam Cooke. And I don't know if they knew what I meant. I don't know if they understood what I meant. But I knew there's a change that's gonna come when black folks were going to really enjoy the outdoors. And not only we're gonna enjoy the outdoors, we were gonna make sure, and I mean make sure that the industry help us do that, and we make sure that everyone in their lifestyle will help us as well. Well, that guy right there you see standing on that rock in Roan Mountain in the AT, you see that fella right there? I had just backpacked probably about 20 miles. I had never been backpacking a day in my life, guys, right? Until about 13 weeks ago, right? I had to go through something to get to something. I had to go out on those trails myself and understand the things that are happening on those trails before I could go back to black folks and tell them what's going on. I had to understand what was in those trails. I had to sit around those campfires and decide if I even wanted to do it, right? I had to make sure that those campfires were just what I thought they were. I had to make sure that the people that I went with, that I trusted them, right? I had to make sure that they removed fear from me. I had to make sure that they gave me some knowledge. And when I got comfortable with the outdoors, I did the very same things that I'm telling folks that black folks will do once we get comfortable in the outdoors. I bought me a backpack. I purchased me some shoes, some boots. I actually bought me a tent. I purchased everything that I needed for the outdoors. I didn't need anybody to give me anything, because the moment I began to love and cherish the outdoors, I spent my money in the outdoors. And these are the things that I'm saying right now in regards to the industry. We have to have an ROI. It has to be a return on inclusion, and it has to be a return on your investment, guys, right? This is not a kumbaya. I'm not a kumbaya guy. My job is not to tell white folks how bad they are in the outdoors for not including black folks. My job is not to tell white folks that you guys are around the campfire and black folks are not around the campfire. My job is not to twist your arm to get us into the outdoors. My job is to twist your heart and to make sure that you understand that you are enjoying the outdoors. You're enjoying everything out there. You're enjoying around the campfire. Your families are having an amazing time around the campfires. My job is to share with you how we're going to get more Black folks in the outdoors. The bottom line, the industry has to understand. Nike has done it. Ford has done it. Chevrolet has done it. All these large brands have done it. The outdoor industry is the only industry that I know of that Black folks have had to beg and plead for you to advertise to us, to market to us. Listen, Black folks spend $1.2 trillion every year on different products. We only make up 14% of the population. We have money and we want to spend our money. But we don't want to spend our money with folks who are not asking for our money, right? And so for those of you who are wondering why Black folks are not in the outdoors, the number one thing in there is because the industry has never asked for our money. They never said, hey, Black folks, we want your money. We want your money. Please bring us your money. Instead, what they've said was Black folks live in the inner city, so they can't get to work. They can't get to the outdoors. Well, we go to Disney World, we go to all the other places. We'll come to Asheville and we'll congregate in the city, but we won't go on the mountain. The industry hadn't said, wow, Black folks, you know, they don't have any education in regards to the outdoors. They don't know anything about the outdoors. So you can't advertise and market to folks when you don't know their why, right? And so for me, I tell the industry, whether it be retail, whether it be our national parks, whether it be Asheville, whether it be any space within the outdoor industry, listen, we need to get on the offensive side of this rather than on the defensive side of it. The outdoor industry is the most segregated industry in the world in regards to numbers, right? 90% of the outdoor industry is white, right? If we're going to just keep it real here, 90% of the industry is white, right? Well, if 90% of the industry is white and 0.8% of the industry is people of color and Black, doesn't that seem like it's a problem? Particularly for the fact that in national parks and public lands, everybody pays for this land, right? Everyone pays for this land, not just white folks. And I'm not trying to put my hammer down on white folks, but the truth is the truth. Black folks pay for this land. We love this land, right? What we have to do is, and what the industry and what the folks who love this land lifestyle is at bay, we need to remove fear, add knowledge, and we have to invite Black folks into the outdoors. There's something that I want to make sure I share with you guys that's very important. Black folks spend $63 billion on travel. $63 billion on travel. Well, if they spend $63 billion on travel, that means we can buy some motorhomes. We can actually go to cabins right here in Buncombe County, right here in Asheville, right in the place in the heart of the outdoors in the South, right? In North Carolina. We are able to do that, but we have to be invited. We have to be invited. I'm very, very excited about our company. I'm very excited about our company because Black Folks Camp 2, guys, and here's the beautiful thing. Black Folks Camp 2 wasn't created just to get Black folks to go camping with Black folks. That would perpetuate what the industry looks like. Black Folks Camp 2 was created to get Black folks to camp with any and everyone. So we all are around the campfire to talk about some of the things that we are dealing with in our country. Listen, the campfire itself is the oldest form of heat. It's the oldest form of light. It's the oldest form to help cooking. And it's the oldest form of communication, a portal for communication. Well, if we only have one race of people around the campfire, we're not going to get anything done. That doesn't seem right. The bottom line is, guys, the bottom line is this. The campfire in our logo, I'm going to come up a little closer. It is the portal for amazing conversations. It doesn't matter your race, your age, or your gender. we all have something to say. And one thing I know about being out on the trail, or being in RVs, being in cabins, being in campgrounds, the one thing I know, guys, is when you get around that campfire, you'll find out that 80% of we have 80% sames and 20% differences. What we have right now in America and what we're going through right now, we're spending 80% of our time talking about our differences and 20% of our sames. And this is the reason why we have so many issues right now, right? The things that were going on in our country right now are not happening just because all of a sudden they just happen. These things happen because they've been fermented, they've been pushed under a rug. They're like dust under the rug. And when you walk on a rug, when there's dust under the rug, the dust starts to woof, it comes out. So the things that are happening right now in our country because no one really wanted to talk about them, right? And so what I'm saying to you guys, I don't want the outdoor industry to be the way our country is right now. And right now, honestly, we're still operating that way in regards to the outdoor industry. We're afraid to talk about it. We're afraid to really understand why Black folks are not going in the outdoors. And then we don't want to be truthful about the reason why Black folks are not going in the outdoors. We don't want to talk about the fact that we have a lot of fear, right? There were a ton of lynchings, a ton of cross burnings and things that are happening in the South in the woods that Black folks generationally we're going through. Tough times, right? And we don't have any knowledge, right? And I keep going back to this because I want this to stick. We don't have any knowledge, right? And when you don't have any knowledge about something, you just don't want to do it, right? And what I mean by knowledge, I mean we need to be educated on the outdoors. We need to know what kayaks are. We need to know what canoes are. We need to know how zip lining is cool, right? We need to know all these things. And we don't know because we haven't been invited and no one has told us. So that's what our company has done, and that's what we're doing. Listen, this year, 2020 has taught us that we need one another more than ever, right? We need one another more than ever. Every restaurant, every hotel, every attraction here in Asheville, you don't care right now where the money comes from. You need people in your doors, right? And when you need people in your doors, you have to attract those folks. You have to ask for their money. You have to make sure they are educated about your locations. You have to make sure that they have knowledge. And you have to make sure they're not afraid to come in because they're going to get looks and stares or not feel like they're welcome. More importantly, you have to invite them. And again, guys, we're not twisting arms. We're twisting hearts, right? We're twisting hearts. I like to stay on that whole ROI because I'm not a kumbaya guy. I know for a fact, once we invest, once the outdoor industry invests into education within the Black community about the outdoors, we're going to spend money. We're going to spend money. I know we will because every other company has done that, right? We're going to spend money because when you're loyal to something, when you love something, when you just think it's the best thing since ice cream, you spend money. Listen, Black folks and white folks, Asian folks, green folks, yellow folks, Hispanic folks, they're no different. Everyone wants to feel like they're welcome. In the outdoor industry, I'm challenging you. Listen, I'm challenging you. We need to start welcoming Black folks to the outdoors. Listen, our cores are no different from your cores. Our cores in Asheville are no different. A unique, eclectic array of experiences in the outdoor, in Asheville opens wide senses of discovery. It enriches our lives, guys. Everything, particularly in Asheville. Asheville has everything. I love Asheville because I can come to Asheville and get me a nice old fashioned because I'm an old fashioned connoisseur. I love that cocktail, right? I can come to Asheville and I can get me a beautiful cabin. I can come to Asheville and I can come to a very eclectic restaurant, right? I can come to Asheville and I can leave the city of Asheville, drive 20 miles and be on one of the beautiful mountains in the country. I can drive from Asheville 10 miles away and go to a beautiful waterfall, right? Listen at this, guys. Black folks want to see this kind of stuff too. We want to see this stuff too. And guess what? When we get here, we're going to spend our money. We're going to spend our money. I promise you that, right? And so at the end of the day, we have to be welcoming. We have to be welcoming. And if you're not welcoming, if you have any inks in your body that you're not welcoming any race of people into your establishment and treating them with respect and inviting them and loving on them, you're going to fail, right? I know a lot of industries have not done that. The country is moving towards inclusion itself. Our country has said enough is enough. Our country has said, look, we can't operate this way. You see what happens when we operate the way we operate now? It does not work. It does not work, right? And so at the end of the day, we have to remove fear, guys. We have to remove fear, not just in the outdoor industry. You have to remove fear at business owners. You have to want to be able to do things differently. You have to want to be able to do things so different that it feels different. It feels uncomfortable to you. But if those things are going to give you an ROI, you need to do them, right? You need to make sure there's some integrity in that particular space. And you need to make sure that that fear that you have within yourself, if that fear is so deep that you don't know what you're doing, call us, right? Reach out to groups that can help you give the message and drive folks into your business. The next thing is you have to add some knowledge, right? I know some friends, some very eclectic friends, wouldn't dare come to Asheville because they're scared of the woods and the mountains. They think that Asheville is a place of just the woods, so they don't come. But I got to tell you something. Asheville is a beautiful place. It's an absolutely gorgeous place. But if only white folks know about Asheville, you see that your business and you see how it's suffering in a lot of spaces. We have to get everyone involved. We have to get everyone wanting to love this place, right? Just like the outdoor industry. Guys, the third thing is, again, I get back to invitation. When I took my first backpacking trip, and before I stood on the stage at the Outdoor Economy Conference last year, and I told everyone we have to remove fear, we have to add knowledge, and we have to invite. Well, there were some young men who followed the trait, right? I'll be frank with you. I am a RVer. I love RVs. I love being in the comfort of an RV. So when the proposition was posed to me to go backpacking, I said, backpacking? I said, you mean in a tent and 20 miles and out there with bears and all these kind of things? They were like, yeah. And I was like, okay then. So I tried to forget it, to be honest with you. It went out of it went in one ear and went out the other, because I was saying in my mind, I know I have to do this. I know I'm going to do this, but I'm not sure if I want to do it right now. Well, there were 3 gentlemen at that Outdoor Economy Conference. One name is Wes Stone. The other one name is Andy Kergren, right? They did exactly what I'm saying to you guys. They called me. They said, Earl, we want to make sure you know that we're going to take you backpacking. We have invited you. I said, okay, I'm ready. And then they began to remove fear from me. They started to send me information bullet by bullet, right? They were telling me what's going to happen. When should it happen? When I get into the forest, I need to do this. I need to do that. When I see this, I need to do this and do that. And I said, okay, I feel a little calm now. And then they added some more knowledge, right? They continued to add more knowledge to me every step of the way until it was time for me to go. Well, I was feeling so good about this trip. There was another young man at the Outdoor Economy Conference that he and I garnered an amazing friendship. And he's an amazing guide and he has an amazing company. His name is Steve Reinhold, right? So I invited Steve to go backpacking with us, right? So here I am, a non-backpacker, inviting another backpacker who's been backpacking all of his life to go backpacking with us. So the four of us, that's Wes right there, you see in that photo, pour me, making sure I got the food that I brought. And by the way, I brought some oodles and noodles, which I call ramen noodles, something I like, right? I brought those with me. And here we are, the 4 of us, right? These experienced guys with this non-experienced backpacker, but with a guy who has a dream and has the world and want more Black folks to experience the outdoors, right? We take this amazing journey. We go to Panther Town, right? They take me to Panther Town. I'm wearing some cool gear. I'm ready to go. I thought we were just gonna go on a 2-mile hike and have a good time and set up camp down at Schoolhouse Falls and have a great time. these fellas took me on a 15-mile backpacking trip. I thought I was gonna die in regards to the sheer of the backpacking. I was safe with them, but I could not believe I camped and I backpacked 15 miles on my first trip, right? And I'm not talking about just, if you've been to Panthertown, I'm not talking about just a walk in the park. This felt like the Olympics, but I was ready for it. But here's the thing I asked them though. Here's the thing that I asked them, guys. I said to them, how did you know that I would be able to do a trip like this? And I believe Andy said this to me, or Wes. I believe they said, Earl, if you took on the feat in the South to get more Black folks and invite them into the outdoors, knowing the situation in regards to us knowing, Black folks not knowing anything about the outdoors and the industry not inviting us, and all those things you said on stage, you got to be a dog. You got to be a guy that'll push through. And so we knew you can do it. And I got to tell you something. When they did that for me, and when they said that to me, they knew who I was, right? They knew who I was, and they know that I'm going to get it done. But here's the beautiful thing about Black Folks Camp 2. If you guys are expecting, if the industry is expecting Earl B, Hunter Jr., and Black Folks Camp 2 to do this on their own, you're sadly mistaken. So anyone that sees me out on the street, anyone that emails me, anyone that says to me, Earl, how can I help you? Particularly individuals. Earl, how can I help you? Particularly white folks. Earl, how can we help you do these things? How can we help you get more Black folks out? Because again, guys, we're not a group. We're not a club. We're a marketing consulting firm to help other folks, help the industry go out and get more Black folks to buy their products through education. If you're an individual, particularly white folks, and you say to me, Earl, what can I do to help you? I say to you right now, and I look you in your face and I say, go find you some Black friends and take your Black friends camping, right? And if you don't have any Black friends, this is the best time in America to go find some, right? This is the greatest time in America to go find some. And many of you will say to me, Earl, that's hard to do. I know it is, right? It's just as hard for me to get Black folks to come into the outdoor because of their fears, because of their no knowledge, because of their non-invitation. It's going to be just as hard for you to find some Black friends and remove your fear to do that, and add some knowledge to understand why Black folks don't go camping, and then to invite them and to invite yourself into their world. And by the way, don't take the whole adjective that everyone always says, particularly Black folks, I don't go in the woods because of bugs. And most white folks, when they hear that, they say, well, that's why they don't go in the woods. Well, let me tell you something. Black folks, we have some of the most amazing cookouts in the world. We have some of the most amazing family reunions in the world. And guess where they are? They're outside. The bugs are the same bugs. That's just an excuse because they're not familiar with you. They're not familiar with the folks that are out in the woods. White folks are scared of bears. Black folks are scared of bears. White folks are scared of snakes. Black folks are scared of snakes. But the one thing that Black folks have been afraid of in the outdoors, and this is data, Black folks have been afraid of white folks in the outdoors. And that's one thing you need to understand. That's a big deal, right? And we have to change that. The only way we're going to change that, the only way, we have to have communication. We have to understand this and we have to drive it. That's the only way the industry is going to change it, right? So the bottom line, that campfire that you see right there, which is in Schoolhouse Falls in Panthertown. When I was stoking that campfire and then the photos being taken, in my mind, I said to myself, once we get Black folks and all folks around this campfire, we're going to have some amazing, and I mean some amazing conversations. We're going to find out that Earl has children and somebody else has children too. We're going to find out that Earl children are doing virtual learning, and we're going to find out their children are doing virtual learning too. We're going to find out that Earl has had a deep past. We're going to find out that other folks have had some things in their past. We're going to find out that Earl is trying to feed his family, and you're going to find out you're trying to feed your family. And at the end of the day, we're going to find out that 80% of our sames are the same, right? And we have 20% of the same differences. And we're going to find out then that America can actually come together around the oldest portal of communication. If you don't believe me, try it. Because what we've been doing so far, it does not work. It does not work. It does not work boarding up your building. It does not work. It does not work, man. It has not worked. And it's not going to work going forward because change has to come, guys. Change has to come. And I believe that change is in the outdoor industry. I truly believe that. The one thing that I always say about if you've been camping, if ever been around a campfire, one thing that I love, I've come to love s'mores, right? And one cool thing about s'mores is this. You have the marshmallow. The marshmallow is white. You have the graham cracker. The graham cracker is kind of, it would consider the people of color. And then you have the Hershey. Well, I would consider, if we want to say it for term purposes, black folks. You put those all together. When you put those all together, man, you have an amazing snack. An amazing snack. We need to be more like s'mores, right? We need to be more like s'mores because at the end of the day, we cannot continue to go like we've been going for so long. I don't have all the answers. I wasn't hired to come here to speak to you guys to have all the answers. But what I do know is that campfire right there in that logo. We can win together. We can win together. And I mean literally campfires and figuratively, right? We have to learn to speak to one another when we're on the streets. We have to learn to understand what one another's going through. We have to have some empathy, but we also have to hold people accountable, right? We have to hold people accountable. And the one thing that we've done as our company, one thing that we've done, I've said to our staff and I've said to everyone around us, if we believe that the campfire is so important, if we believe that the campfire in our logo is so amazing, if we believe that the campfire is the portal to amazing conversations, and we believe that it doesn't matter your race, and it doesn't matter your gender, and it doesn't matter your age, we all can have something to say. We believe that the campfire is amazing, guys. So when you're around Asheville, or you're gonna be around the world, and you're gonna see this campfire sticker on your doors or on doors around Asheville, you know that folks are saying, come on in. We don't care what you look like. We don't care about your background. We want you in our business, and we want you to enjoy life around the campfire with us. Guys, I'm very, very keen on saying these two things. I want to love on folks, and I want folks to love on me. And I want you guys to know that at the end of the day, we're in this together. The campfire conversation, it's going to change the world if we want to change the world. If we don't, it won't. And we'll continue having the things that we have going on in our country. We're going to see black folks in the outdoors. We're going to see them in the outdoors because our company, we're pushing them there. And we want to be welcome, and we're going to be welcome because we pay for those lands too. And we want to enjoy those lands with our white brothers, with our green brothers, with our yellow brothers, with our orange brothers, sisters, with everybody. We're going to make it happen. I wanted to end this on a bang. I wanted to end our conversation in a place where I want you guys to really, really adjust and understand this, is that we have to galvanize. We have to galvanize. And I want to make sure that you guys know that I'm in it with you. And I want to make sure we're going to drive this thing. And I want you guys to help me do that. And so you guys have any comments, I want you to email me. Email me and email our staff, and we'll get right on it. We'll figure out how to make this thing happen. We're available for all types of conversations, right? Particularly around the campfire. This is my time. This is my time. But I want to make sure that we're going to answer some questions. We're going to throw out some questions. We're going to throw out some things. But I want to let you guys know I'm in it with you. And the campfire is the portal to amazing conversation, guys. So we're going to ask a couple questions right now. I hope you guys have been entertained. I know we had some technical difficulties in the beginning, but hey, life is like that, right? We all got something going on in our life. Nobody's perfect around here, right? So, first question.
Okay. What is the future of Black Folks Camp 2? wondering what plans Earl has for the beautiful community he is creating through this mission.
So one of the plans for us, again, is to get everybody around that campfire. A lot of times when people see the word black, particularly white folks, when they see the word black, they're like, oh, what are they trying to do? What are they trying to change? Honestly, when I started this company, I found out there weren't a lot of smart people in the world, because that word "to" escapes everyone, right? That means as well, and that means also. So that means black folks do camp, black folks will camp, black folks have camp. Our job right now is to build our company. What we are a digital educational portal for black folks, or for anyone to go to our website to learn more about camping, whether it be backyard camping, backpacking, RVing, kayaking, anything in the outdoors. We want to be the portal of that, right?
Okay. Earl, are you available for speaking engagements or workshops or keynote addresses for conferences? And if so, what topics or workshops do you offer?
Duh, you know I'm available. Listen, I'm a PK, man, so I'm always speaking. I love to talk, as you guys can see. I try to stay on topic, particularly with Black Folks Camp 2, but in regards to sales trainings, marketing planning, brand events, anything. I find myself available to have these kind of conversations, because again, campfire conversations can be had in the basement of your house, right? Or it can be had on the top of the largest skyscraper. We all need to get around that campfire and have conversations. So I'm available. Our email is below, and feel free to email. Feel free to go to our website. We want you to go to our website. We think our website is pretty dope, to be frank with you, right? So.
Okay, then the last question. I want African Americans to know they are invited to our community with enthusiastically open arms. What are your thoughts on how to represent that in my marketing materials in an authentic way?
Well, one of the things is there is some kind of thought process that black folks are not wanting to come to Asheville, or black folks don't like the mountains. That's a true statement. Black folks, they love Asheville, but what I notice is my friends, they come to Asheville and they get in the cabin, and I see them take all these photos on social media, but they never leave the cabin. They never leave the cabin. They show the hot tubs in the cabins. They show everything in the place. They never leave the cabins because they're afraid of the outdoors. That's why. Well, some of the things you can do is this. Don't change your marketing style up as much. Just make sure it's inclusive, right? Make sure you have folks that look like folks you're trying to attract, right? That's marketing 101. And again, we can show you those things. We can share those things with you. We can help you in those spaces, right? And so the bottom line is, if you have to remove fear, you have to add knowledge, and you have to invite, even in your own companies. Listen, having D&I trainings, I think, is really cool. But if your D&I training is just to check a box to say that you had a conference about how to treat folks, most of us are adults. If we don't know how to treat folks in 2020, we got a problem, right? We have a major, major problem, right? And so my thing is, if you're going to have some training, let that training be sincere. Let that training be how you're going to move forward for an ROI, not just return on inclusion, but return on investment, right? It's going to take money, time, and effort. Money, time, and effort. And by the way, for all the folks who don't know this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. This is a marathon. It took a long time to embed that fear, to embed that no knowledge, and not to invite black folks into the outdoors. It's going to change. Give it some time. Give it some time. Again, we're not twisting arms. We're not twisting arms here. You can't twist somebody's arm and make them do something. You have to twist their heart, right? And so we're in the heart twisting business. With that being said, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much to the Explore Asheville crew. Thank you so much for Ellen. Thank you so much for our staff, Chris Kavanaugh. And thank you so much to the great folks that keep this organization going and keeping Asheville going. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Earl. That was absolutely tremendous. I'm going to remember the thought about twisting hearts instead of arms for as long as I live. That has become my second mantra of the day. And I really admire you speaking from the heart. So thank you very, very much.
Right on, Chris. Lead the pack, Chris. Lead the pack, baby.
Charge on.
Right on. Hey, that's what we do at App State, baby. We win.
So before we go today, just a final reminder of the second part of our annual meeting. The marketing, sales, and community engagement update will be presented on Tuesday, October 20th at 10 a.m. Save the date and look for registration details in your email. Before we go, I want to thank Pat Kappas and the community engagement team, Jonna Sampson and Daniel Bradley for their work in staging the annual meeting, and Kathy Peterson for her work on the annual report. And finally, before we go, just a word of thank you to the many people in this sector and in our community who have put in tremendously hard work over the last year, but especially the last 7 months. Take care, stay safe and stay sane, and good night, everyone.